Alright guys, so we're going to look at a really cool variation of lateral raises. This is a chest supported cuffed lateral raise. So as you'll see now, we've got the bench facing out away from the cable stack. We've set the bench at around about, and this is going to be quite individual, and actually there's nothing inherently right or wrong with having it slightly lower or slightly higher. It's actually good to vary the angle that you do this at over time, but we'd usually be somewhere between 75 degrees and maybe even as low as 45, depending on what it is we're trying to bias. In this situation for Charlie, we've already determined that this is quite a good angle for him to really target those side delts. So as you'll see, he can start off relaxed at the bottom until he gets himself set up. Then from there, the stoppers are going to be apart from each other, and that's going to be a bit of a guideline as to how far down we come. So that should be that his shoulder, elbow and wrist kind of line up in this bottom position. But that also means, unlike with dumbbells with the cables, there's already tension on here right from the get-go, which is great. And one of the big advantages of this movement now from there, Charlie's going to focus on keeping his torso rigid against the seat, so he's not going to try and lean away at any point away from the seat. He's going to keep leaning into that incline. Next thing he's going to focus on is just driving that upper arm, so you almost have to just think of the forearm as just an extension of the arm really, and just focus on this upper arm bone, and come down Charlie, just going up into that scapular plane. So he gets it into as short position as he possibly can, controls it through that eccentric, and then controls that transition again. Now, a mistake that we'll often see with this is that we'll see people almost go like too much to the side, like almost straight to the sides. And as you'll see that for here especially, partly because of this bench, but also just in terms of the exercise, it's not a particularly effective way to do things. We'll also see people do it too much like a front raise, where they'll almost come up into this position here, which we don't want. Last point will be is that often many will stop way shorter than we actually want. They'll kind of stop around about here because they think that they don't want the upper traps to get involved. Listen guys, we want this to just get involved as much as it needs to towards the end of the movement. So let's work on getting that full range into that top position. So one more good rep. So hold, control that short position at the top, and own it all the way back to the bottom.